Good morning. It's time for our daily devotion, and today we are in Acts chapter 26. And here Paul continues to plead his case, this time before King Agrippa. Now, Paul starts by talking about Jewish history a little bit, about the Jewish prophecies about the coming Messiah, and he does this because he knows King Agrippa is familiar with these things. He even asked him at one point, "You do believe the prophets, don't you, King?" And King Agrippa is a little put off by that and says, "Are you trying to persuade me to be a Christian as well as these others that you've won?" And so they continue to have this conversation. And Paul really hits the bottom line. He hits the nail on the head here. He really focuses in and hones in on what the real problem is. In verse 6, he says this, "King, now I am standing trial for the hope of the promise made by God to our fathers." I'm standing trial because I'm a man of hope. Now, I'll never understand it if I live to be 100 years old, but there are people in this world whose entire existence revolves around hopelessness. They are negative. They're always trying to find the worst in every situation, in every scenario. They're always trying to find the negative about people. If there's nothing wrong, they'll look until they can find something wrong. And I just don't get it. But their entire existence is based on negativity and hopelessness. And when some person, someone, or something enters into their world and it is something that brings hope or someone who preaches hope, it absolutely rains on their pity party. It absolutely causes them to become frustrated and infuriated, because here is a person who's saying there is hope. Good things are on the way. Things are going to get better. God's got a plan. And they don't want to hear that. They want to hear, "Woe is me. I'm worse off than anybody else is, and I've got problems," and blah, blah, blah. Because that's how they get pity, that's how they get attention, and that's how they exist. The truth is, Paul has come into a situation where the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the people who have been kind of running the faith system of Judaism for a long, long time, have been preaching a message of doom and gloom and rules and regulations, and you have to do this, and you have to do that, and nobody's ever good enough, and all that sort of thing. And Paul comes into the situation and preaches not negativity and not hopelessness, but he comes in and says, "Hey, all those prophecies about the Messiah, all those things that the Old Testament talks about, they've come true in the person and the man of Jesus Christ, and he came to bring hope, eternal hope, so that we don't have to live in this negative state of affairs anymore, but that we can look forward to all that God has planned, because he has revealed it all in Jesus Christ." And Paul is right to say, the reason I'm here on trial is because the people of doom and gloom and hopelessness can't stand that I'm preaching a message of hope. Now, that's true today, and there are people who won't be able to stand it when you begin to be positive and hopeful instead of negative and gloomy. And so a couple of things we need to be aware of. One, stay away from hope killers as much as possible. Now, you may be married to one, so you can't stay away from them. Or your best friend may be one, so that's going to be difficult. But try to spend as little time under their influence of doom and gloom as possible. Don't let them set the agenda. You go in with your message of hope, and hopefully over a period of time, you can change them. Hope killers are dangerous. Hope killers will depress you, discourage you, distract you from the purpose of God, and distance you from fellowship with the Savior. So as much as is possible, limit your exposure to hope killers. And what you want to be is a hope creator. What you want to be is that person who, everywhere you go, when you leave the room, people say, "Man, I just feel so much better after I've spent a little bit of time with him. I feel so optimistic after I've spent a little time talking to them and sharing with them. You know, every time they come around, I have a smile on my face because I know they're going to have good news. They're going to have something positive to say. That's the person you want to be known as. You want to be known as the hope creator, not the hope killer. Will that make everybody happy? Absolutely not. It didn't make everybody happy in Paul's case. Will some folks want to get rid of you? Probably so, if you were enough of a hope creator. But the truth is, we have been put into this world to be light and to be salt, to represent hope, to mirror Jesus, and to point people to the fact that there is good news. There is a gospel. And that is what we've been called to share today. Now, go be a hope creator and make it a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow.